get 3 more of these out of it. That just put us to 28. We're rounding the back end of it till we're almost to the end. We'll keep getting that shit at the end of this one. So we're at 15. So we'll get 8 boxes in that. I guess I'm going to go back to trying to do this brow shit again. To not lie. Let's use the Esmo. It's, what do we got on it here? Okay, I guess this should work.
Autopilot mode enabled. Battle starts. Awaiting instructions. Enemy force sighted on the horizon. Battleship sighted. Autopilot mode disabled.
Shit, man. Where's this one? He's in it. He's in it as well. I mean, at least they're fighting for it. try to get my other, I don't even know why I keep trying to get this dude's out of it. I mean, honesty, only one I got high enough captain in to be doing this is the West Virginia 41. And it, I mean, I could try to finish Halsey off, I guess. It's not set up really for it. Damn, man, stuck at Queen Elizabeth. I'm fucking them up. And he died, poor old feller. And he's got Lancashire with the Dunkirk. That's British ship, no, it's French ship. France can kiss my ass, man. Over that bullshit, oh Lord, over that bullshit they've let them queers do there in mocking Jesus' Last Supper, bro. I mean, honestly, what bullshit. I usually watch the Olympics and watch boxing. Not this year. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. If I was an advertiser and paid them millions of dollars to advertise during that, I would jerk my fucking fund and I'd tell them I wanted a refund for that fucked up freak show they got going on there. What the fuck is wrong with people, man? I mean, you talking about, I thought it was bad enough the shit they did in California at that baseball game when they let them three fuckers come out in drag as nuns. And they called hell over that. Then here it is, the Paris Olympics, they let three fat fucks, 13 fat fucks to 12, mocking the 12 disciples, and have this big ass motherfucker in drag or mocking Jesus. Hey, God'll punish you for shit like that, buddy. I mean, in all honesty, God will punish you for shit like that. That's a fact. And here it is. I can't believe it, man. In all honesty, I really cannot believe that they have let that shit go on, dudes. I mean, honestly, and you don't see it in the mainstream media either that they've let this. What's that? Olympic furious French bishop confesses regrets scene of I'd say they do. I'd say they are regretting it. Yeah, listen to this shit.
French Bishops' Conference, FBC, has slammed part of the Olympics opening ceremony that mocked and ridiculed Christianity in Paris on Friday. The Games were officially opened by a spectacular and often edgy ceremony on the River Seine, with performances from stars from France and beyond. But one scene has angered many high-profile Christians, with accusations it was mocking the Last Supper, Leonardo da Vinci's iconic painting that depicts the final meal of Jesus Christ with his disciples. The official Olympic social media platform moved to ease tensions surrounding the performance, which featured actor and singer Philip Catherine in blue body paint alongside several drag queens, saying it was a depiction of the Greek god Dionysus, which was intended to highlight the absurdity of violence between human beings.
Bullshit.
Read more. Olympic ceremonies controversial performer breaks silence after Harrison Butker criticism. Read more. Olympic champion loses wedding ring in River Seine, then asks wife to throw hers in. But that has not curbed the anger of religious figures, with the FBC issuing a scathing statement in response to the opening ceremony. We believe that the values and principles expressed and disseminated by sport and Olympism contribute to the need for unity and fraternity that our world so desperately needs, while respecting everyone's convictions. Around the sport that brings us together and promotes peace among nations and hearts, the statement read. Last night's opening ceremony offered the world
It depicted exactly what they thought. They need to double back on it.
This ceremony unfortunately included scenes of mockery and derision of Christianity, which we deeply regret. We would like to thank the members of other religious denominations who have expressed their solidarity with us. Follow us on
what's solidarity of it? I mean, honestly.
Today, we are thinking of all the Christians on every continent who have been hurt by the outrageousness and provocation of certain scenes. We want them to understand that the Olympic celebration goes far beyond the ideological biases of a few artists. Sport is a wonderful human activity that deeply delights the hearts of athletes and spectators alike.
They lost their crowd, and now they're trying to backtrack on what they did.
Now it's time to take to the field, and may it bring truth, consolation, and joy to all.
I refuse to watch it over it, man. I mean, honestly, and I love to watch the boxing.
If there were no controversy. Wouldn't it be boring if everyone agreed on this planet? Catholic leaders stateside were also left disgusted by what they saw.
Why wouldn't they?
Barron uploaded a video expressing his feelings, telling his followers, "I love the Olympics, so I turn on the opening ceremony of the Olympics." And what do I see now? It's in Paris, France, a city I love. I spent 3 years as a doctoral student there. I see this gross mockery of the Last Supper, and I won't describe it any further. France felt evidently, as it's trying to put its best cultural foot forward, that the right thing to do is to mock this very central moment in Christianity where Jesus at his Last Supper gives his body and blood in anticipation of the cross.
So that's what I was saying about that, man. They're mocking Jesus at the moment that he's realized he's going to die. That's my problem with the gays, period. Doing shit like that right there, man. I mean, in all honesty, they could do a lot of shit, but that shit right there, man, that is just totally straight up as big a mockery of Christians as you can get, man. I mean, honestly. You don't get no deeper of a mockery of Christians than that, man. I mean, really, you don't. I can't believe that France, as a country, would ever let that shit go on. But they did. Which, I mean, on the same hand, these is the same bunch of motherfuckers that tried to sue the U.S. after World War II, said that they went through raping and pillaging, and knowing good and goddamn well that it was the Germans did it. I mean, what bullshit out of them, man. Truly, what bullshit out of them. Oh shit, we just beached out, damn it. There we go, let's try to finish him. Dude's just itching to die, ain't he, bro? I mean, well, it ain't over. The fat lady ain't went to singing her punk ass.
In 5 minutes.
Later, Tater, secondaries take your ass out.
Our victory is in sight.
Oh, let's go ahead and go. Well, we can help Guy Pearson here. Come on, bro. I'm trying to come around to you, dude.
Our team has taken the lead.
Yeah. I'm not worried about it, bro. We got this. Okay. Yeah, it's not so worried, huh? Alrighty then. Yay, we won. Damn, I got 1 million out of that too. It wasn't, if we'd have used the green one, we'd have got 1 million. Okay. And, do the 11 missions for 8,000 go. I don't know how many more days this is left. And, let's see here. They did a lot of clan and browse lately, you know. One day, I doubt we'll get it. I don't even really know I'm playing it. Let's see, we're back up to almost 44 million. Okay, let's see here. If anything, I guess I should play those. Which we got quite a few battleships. We could play in those. Didn't know you could play that low down of them on it. Let's see. We can play with that one. I guess we could. We got the Yukon. He just got a 10 in him, on him. I mean, why not? When it comes to it. Oh, yeah, I got this one for the Predator. Forgot I had that ship. Tier 6. Tier 6 cruiser. Let's see. I don't even see that ship. Duplex. I wouldn't have thought I'd would have deleted it. I quit doing that crap. To be honest, you know. Let's see here. We could work on the hood a little bit. Which I think we will. Work on the hood a little bit. They can't be that much longer of these left. 3 hours, it says. I doubt we got 3 hours, but we're going to play them anyway. Why not? I could use the steel. I really could. I mean, now honestly, that shit about the Paris Olympics, that's beyond fucked up. That's just a mockery, man. And it just truly is. That's a oh, I'm pretty interested in hearing this one. Well, ain't no hearing it of, I don't guess. Here we go. We'll get going there in a second, bros. That's want to hear this.
To the really pressing issue of homelessness in our country, related to something going on in Oregon. Legal affairs correspondent Abijoy Burnett once again live for us in Washington as all this rolls in. So she's going to break down this first ruling again. It was about a small city in Oregon, how they're dealing with the homeless. Good morning, Abijoy.
Good morning to you both. This is about a case in the city of Grants Pass, and it's about homelessness in that city. And this particular city in Oregon passed an ordinance that really restricted where people were able to stay if they were homeless. What the judges had to decide here is if removing these folks from certain areas constituted cruel and unusual punishment. And in a 6-3 decision, the justices decided that this did not constitute cruel and unusual punishment. I'm just getting some notes here from one of our interns, and pretty much what this was about, because of the strict ordinances that this particular jurisdiction put into place, people who would violate the laws by sleeping on park benches, sleeping in public areas, they would then be able to get a fine. And if they were repeat offenders, the fines could go up or they could be incarcerated. And the
well, they'd like that, man.
Those fines and the possible incarceration for homeless people constituted cruel and unusual punishment. It was a violation, according to their argument, of the 8th Amendment. But the justices said this is not the case. It was a 6-3 decision with all of the conservative justices on one side and the liberal justices on the other side. And you know how this goes. We're still trying to read through the details. I don't know how long it is as yet. But here's what they said. They said the enforcement of generally applicable laws regulating camping on public property does not constitute cruel and unusual punishment prohibited by the 8th Amendment. So there we have it. We know that homelessness is something that is affecting so many people across the United States, but cities are also grappling with how to really fix this problem and how to accommodate many of the people who have been impacted by this problem. And I do know that there were certain organizations within that particular area who filed briefs with the U.S. Supreme Court in favor of the ordinance here in this jurisdiction. In particular, there was one church group that said they want to be able to help these folks, get them off the street. They put out the numbers on how many folks they were able to get into some sort of transitional and then permanent housing. But they said if folks are able to just stay out there in this particular area in the parks and so forth, they may not have the motivation to go get that assistance. So that's the first decision of the morning, a 6-3 decision in this case that we've been waiting for.
Today, 12-year-old Maria Gomez-Perez is safe. Good afternoon. Thanks for being with us. I'm Wendy Corona.
This is one of the stories we're so pleased to bring you. Welcome. I'm Justin Farmer. And yes, the new developments as we're learning more about where Maria Gomez-Perez was and where she was for 2 months. Channel 2's Courtney Francis. You've been following this search since it started, and you've learned that Maria is not home quite yet. Do we have that right?
Right, she's not home yet. Right now, she's with investigators, and Child Protective Services has to work with her, figure out what's best. She has to undergo wellness checks, but this is so new. I want to show you this. Her missing posters are still scattered at local businesses across Polk County. And you can see that right here. I have this one. This came from her father's front yard.
Finally, a father could remove the missing posters from his front yard. He was with a few there for a quiet moment. Andres Gomez spoke to me with the help of Norma Hernandez, a community leader who's been helping in the search.
I didn't think I was going to find her again. Many times I thought that she was there.
Maria disappeared from their Gainesville home May 29th.
She's 12 years old. She's a little girl. She wants to study. She wants to go to school.
7 weeks later, a break in the case. Deputies said someone claiming to be his daughter sent him a Facebook message saying, "Stop searching, I'm not coming home." That was last week.
He sent it to me.
Detectives tracked computers and phones to this man, Antonio Augustine.
Ship is on fire.
24 years old. He was in Dover, Ohio.
Anti-aircraft gun crews are on full alert.
That was Thursday. There she was with Augustine. Agents followed them to a shopping center, arrested Augustine, and rescued Maria.
Problem solved, sir. Ship is on fire.
The tried to communicate with Maria for quite some time before deciding to drive 9 hours and abduct her from there.
¿Qué tal si él ahí?
Her father fears he may have hurt her.
I would imagine so.
All stations, concentrate fire on the target.
And right now, investigators are still looking into background to see
Torpedoes,
if
astern.
any more charges
Anti-aircraft gun
need
crews
to
are on
come
normal
forward. I
alert.
want to show you this $50,000 reward. Remember that? We're going to talk about what happens with that in the next hour. Reporting live in Hall County, Courtney Francisco, Channel 2 Action News.
Next, we're in Green Bay, Wisconsin for a hearing. 25-year-old Taylor Shabiznis has been charged with first-degree intentional homicide, mutilating a corpse, and third-degree sexual assault. A year earlier, according to police, Shabiznis was smoking meth with her lover, 24-year-old Shad Furion. Then, during sex, she allegedly snapped and strangled Shad to death with a chain. The defendant then allegedly sexually abused Shad's body before dismembering him. This all happened in the basement of Shad's mother's house. She'd been asleep, but when she awoke and went downstairs, she found her son's head in a bucket. Shabiznis had fled the scene. Shad's mother immediately called police, who found Shabiznis at home later that night with what police believed to be Shad's blood still on her clothes. She was arrested and officially charged. Shabiznes pled not guilty by reason of mental defect, and today she appears at a competency hearing in restraints alongside her attorney Quinn Jolly. Jolly has just asked Judge Thomas Walsh for a delay so that his client can be further evaluated. The judge grants the request and pushes back the start date of the trial. But much to the surprise of Jolly, the decision sends Shabiznes into a rage.
Stop it. Stop it.
Shabiznes lunges at her attorney, swinging wildly. Jolly fends her off as this deputy springs into action.
Stop it.
Shabiznes is taken to the ground. The deputy calls for help.
Rachel, call.
Shabiznes continues kicking. A second deputy calls for backup over the radio.
They need a code 3 and branch 2223 is on his way. Wrestling with Shabiznes.
The court is cleared as the deputies attend to Shabiznes.
You went off on your attorney, Taylor. You went crazy on your attorney. You can't do that here.
Hey, Jeff.
Yeah.
Hey, good friend. No, that's good, bro. I'm glad you did. Sorry, Jeff. I was watching this girl go off on in this courtroom, beating the hell out of her attorney.
After a short break.
Tonight, 2 more arrests made in the tragic death of a teen boy in Kent that has a community.
She's beating the hell out of him, bro.
Thank you for joining us. This is the 3rd arrest Kent police have made in recent days in the case of a 13-year-old shot and killed in an offer-up deal gone wrong. Cairo 7's Jake Chapman live at Turnkey Park where this tragedy took place. And Jake, investigators believe these 3 suspects staged the buy in order to rob children.
Exactly, Aaron. A really tragic situation. What's left of it, you see here, this rowing memorial at Turnkey Park to honor that 13-year-old victim. We've seen complete strangers come by here to pay their respects. And while the family did not feel ready to buy a camera today, they did say that these recent arrests bring some sort of comfort during a tragic time.
That's sad, bro. 13-year-old.
Turns deadly.
To have it end in a death, I think it's frightening for anybody.
As photos of the young victim, 13-year-old Matthew Stakhovwy, now lay along this walkway. One of the photos with this message from his brother, thanking the Lord he was able to grow up alongside Matthew. 3 people under the age of 20 are now behind bars for Matthew's murder. Investigators say these 3 came to Turnkey Park to buy a camera from one of Stakhovwy's friends.
This is something that people do all the time, whether they buy things off of OfferUp or Craigslist or any kind of platform like that.
But each one admitting to detectives they didn't have the money for the camera and that they were going to rob them. Investigators say once a 4th person came out with a gun, that's when Stakhovwy and his friends ran away and the
Damn, we're going to rob them. I mean, openly admit that is going to rob them. Damn, that's pretty sad, dude. I mean, honestly.
Gunman opened fire. One of those bullets hit Matthew in the back. His friend pulled over at the Kentwood Apartments down the road for help, while Lennox and Good Samaritans did everything they could to save him.
So I take it.
Matthew passed away.
I think we've had 9 homicides so far this year.
I don't know if they're just going to rob him.
Because that's more than something.
Am I getting this right? They were going to rob him, and he shot him. I don't know if I'm getting this. If I'm getting this right, so the little dude they decided to rob him.
Park to buy a camera from one of Stakhovwy's friends.
This is something that people do all the time, whether they buy things off of OfferUp or Craigslist or any kind of platform like that.
But each one admitting to detectives they didn't have the money for the camera and that they were going to rob them. Investigators say once a fourth person came out with a gun, that's when Sokovy and his friends ran away and the camera equipment was stolen. As Matthew and his friend got to an ATV to get away,
So they did rob him.
opened fire, and one of those bullets hit Matthew in the back. His friend pulled over at the Kentwood Apartments down the road for help, while medics and Good Samaritans did everything they could to save his life. Matthew passed away.
I think we've had 9 homicides so far this year where young people have been killed, and that's really surprising.
Well, no, I mean, I'm going to beg to differ on that. They were trying to rob the guy.
For 2 of these suspects, prosecutors tell us they remain vigilant in making sure justice is served.
If you use a gun, we want to send a very clear message that you can expect to see a courtroom.
Huh?
And the first suspect Kent police arrested earlier this week, an 18-year-old, he has been charged with first-degree murder and robbery. The 2 that were recently arrested, while they have not been charged just yet, prosecutors tell me that all could change as early as next week. Live in Kent tonight, Jake Chapman, Cairo 7 News.
So it is what it is. He did that. They were robbing him. He shot him.
Murdering his stepfather was a...
I mean, buddy. It's a shame the 13-year-old boy lost his life, but I mean, if he was out with the intention of robbing someone, I mean, that's probably one of them is what it is, ain't it? I mean, armed robbery or not. That's about stupid, man.
Tonight, 2 more arrests.
I mean, really. And they turned the comments off on it as well.
Another interest of mine that I probably at 87 years of age won't live long enough to see done, but I've discussed cameras in the courtroom and introduced legislation on that over the last 15 years. It's not a very popular subject. Judge Souter joked that he'd have to roll over in his dead body before they'd put cameras on the Supreme Court. While I can respect that point of view, I totally disagree. Many of us believe that allowing cameras in the courtroom would open the courts to the public and bring about a better understanding of the judiciary. For many years, that bill that I've introduced has been called the Sunshine in the Courtroom Act, a bill to give
I agree with that,
allow media coverage of federal court proceedings. I'm also a co-sponsor of Senator Durbin's bill.
You allow the government to break the law. You've got to realize just goes. You look what they did during the COVID, man. I mean,
recording of oral arguments as well as public release of the recording.
Oh, Grassi, Senator Grassi, buddy, he stays up on them. I think she's one of Biden's nominees.
The investigation into the tragic shootout in North Carolina that left 4 officers dead. Authorities were trying to serve a warrant when the suspect opened fire. Faith Abube is on the scene in Charlotte. Good morning, Faith, and this is a painful reminder of how dangerous.
I used to live in Charlotte.
It really is, Gio. This was the
That's a bad place,
of police officers in nearly 8 years, and now funeral plans are underway as investigators try to piece together what happened.
I live down there. There's this
4 police officers killed and 4 others injured after trying to serve felony warrants in Charlotte, North Carolina.
Shots fired at officer, possibly 1 down. Correction, 2 down. Subjects barricaded himself.
The officers, part of a U.S. Marshals fugitive task force, descended on this home looking for convicted felon 39-year-old Terry Clark Hughes Jr. Authorities say Hughes opened fire on the officers. Listen closely, and you can hear at least 1 gunshot as a stunned bystander records it all. Neighbors describing the mayhem as police took over their house.
They used one of our bedrooms to set up a U.S. Marshal sniper in.
Helicopters hovered and schools put on lockdown during the 4-hour standoff.
Well, that schools put on lockdown, man. It's summer break.
Overnight, Officer Joshua Iyer, a 6-year veteran of the Charlotte-Mecklenburg Police Department, succumbing to his injuries, leaving behind a wife and 3-year-old son.
Keep your prayers, keep your faith. Make sure that these
Yeah, that's what you get for having a Democrat for a fucking mayor.
And officers Sam Pelosi and William Elliott also died in that shootout. We're waiting for the ID of the 4th officer. In the meantime, the police chief says the 4 others who were wounded are stable. George.
Such a tragic
damn, son. I mean, and they wanted to defund them dudes. Fucking Alexander Cortez.
The 5 co-hosts.
Man, I'm telling you, old Cortez, I don't like that girl. I think she's a piece of shit. Cassius Cortez. I mean, honestly, I think she's the epitome of why you shouldn't let people from other countries ever run for fucking Congress. Motherfucker, a bartender, and acts like she's all educated and shit. That's what I don't get about Democrats, man. I mean, they say they're educated, but they're fucking retarded. Really. Every time you run up on a Democrat, they start throwing it out there. Oh, well, that's educated. You're brainwashed, man. I mean, really. How the hell, if you are educated, as you're saying, as the Democrats do, I've been into it with one on Facebook here over the border, and y'all educate. Well, if you're educated, you'd realize when you start calling somebody a white supremacist and racist, you'd remember the Ku Klux Klan as Democrats. Seriously, Democrats. That's deep South Democrats. No, that was Democrats. It was all across the country. They all were part of the Klan. I mean, they go on that, hey, good morning there, dude. They go on there saying that you know, all these southern people, they racist and shit. No, Democrats, they're really racist. Then keep in mind, both presidents, when we went to World Wars, it's both Democrats. They both headstrong took us into it. Then you got Lyndon B. Johnson took us into Vietnam. Both World Wars, Democrats were involved in. Voted for, wanted. When you go back and you look at Franklin Roosevelt, you realize he did everything he could do to get into World War II, man. I mean, he, all but publicly, but he'd promised the country he wouldn't take us to war. But he eventually sanctioned Japan so much that, I mean, in all honesty, they kind of had no other choice but to attack the United States. And then you got Johnson during Vietnam. They was shooting at themselves and escalated it, saying that the Vietnamese had attacked us when they'd fucked up and attacked their own selves. And that escalated us into Vietnam. When you got France, had been there a decade beforehand, and they couldn't take it over, and the U.S. wasn't adapted to jungle fighting and had no idea how to deal with them, that the war was over 2 or 3 years before they Joel Ford made the fuck up to to withdraw like he did. I never understood why Ford did that. I mean, had ample enough time to remove, and it still wasn't a fuck up like Biden did with with Afghanistan. I mean, and that's how we got Carter, was over Vietnam. We ended up with Carter, which really didn't do much of nothing. I mean, in all honesty, he let the economy go still. He refused to do anything to Iran when they took her embassy over. That's, then, Democrats. Well, I think, wasn't Carter independent? I believe Carter was independent. But nonetheless, it still ended up being what it was. Yeah. And,
Roger. Good luck, everyone.
So, if they educate themselves, they'd realize Democrats are for war, you know. They really are. The worst wars we've been in has been Democrat involved. Bill Clinton, and as a fact, brought on all the shit that ended up being 9/11. Bill Clinton brought that shit on, not Bush. Bush was just the victim that won the presidency after Clinton had been in office. Clinton knowed that the Taliban was out to attack the U.S. They know that wholeheartedly, that the Taliban was going to attack us. They didn't even care to tell Bush. But Bush takes all the blame for what the Democrats had started, and they did start it. Then my biggest problem with Bush was when he, oh shit, I probably hit that cliff, is when he signed and let him take God out of school, and church and God out of school. I felt that was really fucked up of Bush, that he did that, because that was the beginning of the downfall of our country when it come to that.
Problem solved, sir.
That now you got the gays are at the Paris Olympics doing what they've did to the Christians, and now that they've lost so much support over that, they're honestly trying to backtrack it. I don't think there's going to be no backtracking what they pulled, you know, in all honesty. I don't think people's going to just let that go and it be what it is on that deal. I truly don't. I think that end of the day, they're absolutely going to have to deal with the consequences over that. I probably messed up here, man. Yeah, I have. That little gunboat's going to take me out. Hey, man, I don't need you to tell me how to play, you dirty son of a bitch. Get off behind that rock. Then we'll start talking, bro. Till then, shut your cocksucker. I mean, really, punk. You pompous-ass piece of shit. Ain't my day, bro. I've been playing this. Got mad earlier of teammates in brawls. I expect this shit right there in these. I mean, honestly, man, I could never be a Democrat, ever. And I was a registered one for quite a few years and didn't even know it. When I turned 18, I registered for Selective Service, which here in the U.S. you have to. I registered as a Republican. Well, I had a friend that was running for the sheriff's office. I didn't know he was a damn Democrat. He asked me to vote for him. I mean, I thought, what the hell, vote for him? I mean, you know, like the old boy, I had no idea he was a damn Democrat. Well, he never told me a word about it. He told me he'd fix it, or asked me was I registered, and I told him, yeah, I was registered. I just hadn't. It was Bill Clinton's second term at the time, and I didn't vote. And next thing I know, man, because they didn't have a real good candidate against him, and I just felt it was a waste of a vote to vote, because he ended up getting his second term, which I voted for him his first term. But I had no idea he'd done register me as a Democrat as well. It was on his second term when I went to vote that I realized, yeah, I was going to vote against him, is what it was. That I realized that he had registered me as a Democrat. But I still vote, even though they had me registered as a Democrat, I still voted Republican. So, I mean, at one point I was registered as a Democrat, you know, but I've never really been one. And back then Democrats were a lot different. That's why I never messed with it. Democrats were different back then, until Barack Obama come along. Now, when Barack Obama come along, the Democratic Party had really changed. And it never had anything to do with his color. Why I didn't vote for him? I didn't vote for him because I know he had did a interview in Chicago as his run when he declared he was going to run as president, that he was going to wage war on the coal business. And he did. I mean, in all honesty, he did. And that's a fact on that deal. And I wouldn't vote for him because of that. I mean, he really did my state bad. Obama did. He caused us to be jobless when we were thriving. We had a lot more electoral votes. We had a lot more senators and Congress. And that some bitch buddy, he absolutely ruined us. He really did. I mean, I went from making $500-600 a day to unemployment. That's that simple, that fast. So naturally, I wasn't going to vote for him, and I voted for Trump his first time as well, but because we had went through 8 years of Barack Obama. He had give all this money to the banks and to the car companies. He did not try to help the American people. They said he created jobs. That was a damn lie. The economy went stale, and we were really in a recession. And they kept saying we was in a recession while Bush was president. Bush would give the American people a couple stimuluses to boost the economy and to bring it out of it. But at the time he did it, we wasn't really hurting here in West Virginia. It was on Barack Obama's second year in office that they had got the Congress and damn near almost got the Senate that they started, and all them executive orders and shit he did against the coal business. And then that's when he really put a hurt on us. And I've always said that when he got reelected, that he had, in all honesty, they cheated. I always said that, because at that point in time, he had costed the United States so many fucking jobs. I really just couldn't see nobody voting for him. But he took Acorn and the Black Panthers, and he intimidated people at the polls, and he really did. Then he did that shit in Charlottesville. Another coder ended up getting prosecuted and convicted, and Obama had to give up his executive powers because he pardoned him. That's how it stopped his ass at the end of his on his second term. That was how it stopped Obama. Or I believe he would have pushed and did shit like Joe Biden has. And they keep saying they look for Joe Biden to give it up and give it to Kamala about the presidency, that they look for him to hand it over to him. And I really don't. And the biggest reason I say I don't is because he's not going to do that when he is not a dumbass and he realizes his son's going to be convicted in November. Well, sentenced, not convicted. He's been convicted, but he's going to be sentenced in November. And if he was to do that, he can't pardon him. And people say, well, he's not going to pardon him anyway. But, well, yeah, he would. Why wouldn't he? Because he can no longer be held and impeached for it. He's not going to run a second term. So, why wouldn't he do it? He's not going to let that boy go to jail. If he can stop him, he can stop it. And he can stop it. So, no, sir, I don't look for Obama, I don't look for Biden to do that. Because he couldn't trust Kamala Harris is not going to do it because either. Because she would be impeached for it. So, there you go. Biden's not. Now, I always said, I didn't think that. Well, I knew he was in bad health. I mean, that's been obvious that that Biden's been in bad health for quite a while. But I figured he would hold out till November, and if he thought he was going to get reelected, he would just let it go through and let him sentence him, and then or have try to cook it up to where he wouldn't get no big lot of time. But I figured if he didn't win, he would go ahead and pardon him, and he can, and he will. And that'll be the exact reason he doesn't, he's not going to hand Kamala Harris the presidency over when he cannot trust her to not pardon Hunter Biden, because if she would, she's part of the same cabinet, and she would have to do it in November, under his administration, and she would be impeached for it. So, and it would go through. Obama would have been impeached, but he chose to give up his executive powers, or he'd have been impeached over Eric Holder. Holder, I think his name is DOJ. He did get convicted in court and was going to jail, and Obama pardoned him. And you can't pardon one of your cabinet members or a family member. So, which he wouldn't be a family member to Harris, but it's still his administration. So I would think that would be just handing the Republicans a golden spoon to stick in their mouth, and they're not going. She wouldn't do it. She wouldn't do it simply of the fact whether Biden would have been reelected or not. These criminal charges about Burisma and taking money from China, they're going to see the light of day, just like Robert Hernandez did, and he got convicted on all 17 accounts of bribery, the FISA Act, and they're also trying to get Hunter Biden on that as well, on the FISA Act, as operating as a foreign spy. And his brother, bunch of his kids, some sister-in-law. That goes deeper, dudes, and the Republicans hasn't just cooked that up on him. He did that. He went on all the major news networks touting that he had that prosecuting attorney in Ukraine fired, that he withheld money from Ukraine, that the Department of Justice and everybody was fine with that guy being on the case, and had said some really good things about him, that Biden turns around, goes there, and has him fired. And if that ain't sure signs of corruption, what is? I mean, 1 second, dudes, I gotta take a bathroom break here, and I'll be right back. So, I mean, in all honesty, that's not just going to go away. It's not, man. Unlike Hillary Clinton and her bullshit, that's not going to just go away. And they're, like I said, the Republicans just didn't cook that up on them. They really didn't. And I mean, when you really look at it, there's more than enough evidence showing that he did do that. Now, Biden's old, man. They're not going to put him in jail, but they are his family members. I mean, at the worst, he'll get home confinement, some shit like that. I mean, at worst, but I mean, his son definitely, and they went around all this time saying that laptop was just Russian disinformation when it really is his. He had said himself he never denied that laptop belonged to him. They even used that laptop during his federal gun charges in court. That where he had was snorting up on cocaine and freebasing and shit. And I took pictures of himself and all the hookers and shit he was laying around with. Secret Service failed when they wouldn't admit he'd took cocaine into the White House. That he did. I mean, let's be honest. He did. That was Hunter Biden's coke. I mean, let's just be honest. That was Hunter Biden's cocaine. That's a fact. And there's too many damn cameras and shit in the White House for them to ever say they don't know who did it. I mean, that's a fact there. And then what they've done with Trump, and I truly believe the Democrats had a part in trying to assassinate Donald Trump. I wholeheartedly believe that. I believe it got to the point about Trump that they felt that Biden his own self come out and I mean, I said Trump need the bullseye put on him the day that he was about assassinated, and then none of the shit makes sense about the shooter, about the assassin that tried to kill Trump. None of that makes sense whatsoever. That here that guy they're claiming he's a Republican, but he was raised by two liberals. I don't believe that either. Not whatsoever do I believe that he was a Republican. If most Republicans love Trump, love him, man. I mean, because when you say Trump didn't do nothing good for the country, I mean, you're absolutely just a hater, because he did. Gas was at $1.70 a gallon. Fact. That's a fact. He had created all kinds of jobs. He had shut the borders down. He did quite a lot. And for them to say what they have about him, like that was the discussion on Facebook that I've been involved in, that they've said that it was the Republicans and the GOP had let Trump stop them from coming to a agreement with them about about the border, that's a damn lie, because that's all Biden. He can own that shit, dudes, because that is truly all Biden. It's Biden's policies. They went into it having an open border. There's no need for them to lie about it. But now that people are really pissed off about it, what are they saying? Well, Donald Trump didn't want the GOP to do anything bipartisan, so therefore it's the Republicans' fault. No, it's not, man. And the Democrats need to own that shit, because at the end of the day, they created the mess, not the Republicans. It was the Democrats, and they're trying to cater to the left-wing radicals like Bernie Sanders and AOC and Omar and those that's publicly said some bad shit about the U.S. and the Jews, in all honesty. And they holler they're all about equity and all this shit, and calling Republicans racist, and they're the ones publicly attacking the Jews, not the Democrats, or not the Republicans. The damn Democrats are publicly attacking the Jews, and they're letting AOC and them do it. I mean, these are facts, man. So what the hell's up with that? Yeah, but like I've often said, this is the party that did start the Ku Klux Klan, man, and won't own it. Will not own that. I ain't worried about that. They won't own it, man. I mean, when they absolutely should, because Civil War, Democrats were called Confederates. Who started the Ku Klux Klan? Democrats. I mean, that's a fact. And if I was black, there ain't no way in hell I'd ever vote for them, because they are the fucking reason that segregation and all that shit went on. That was Democrats. That wasn't Republicans, man. I mean, no, honesty, that wasn't Republicans. That was Democrats. But Abraham Lincoln, he was a fucking Republican, man. Considered one of the greatest presidents that this country has seen. He was a Republican, not a damn Democrat. Joe Biden going around acting like he's the next fucking Abraham Lincoln. He's far from it, man. I mean, no, honesty. This country went more communist and Marxist under Biden than any president we've seen, and that's even to Obama. I really didn't think you could get no more of a racist president than Obama was. I mean, Obama, man, he was racist, very racist. I mean, that's just facts about it, man, that Obama was a racist. No getting around Barack Obama wasn't a fucking racist. Oh shit, keep going, man. If we don't, we're gonna get hit by them.
Torpedoes to starboard. Torpedoes to starboard.
Let's see if we can't hit this little guy. That just is a cold-hearted truth about that shit, man. But I mean, to hear these Democrats tell it was the Republican Party that was the Ku Klux Klan, that's a damn lie, man. I mean, in all honesty, that is a lie. That was the Republican Party, or the Democrat Party, rather, that was the Klan members. Hell, we even had a damn senator. He was part of it, and he was a damn Democrat. And I truly, honestly don't think Robert C. Byrd was racist. I think it's exactly what he said, that if you wanted the votes, and you was a Democrat, you would join the Ku Klux Klan. Because that's what he said about it when he was interviewed, and he was interviewed about it. And he said that, I mean, he just didn't get what the big hubbub was there, that they had, that they would openly, it was just one of those things, man, that if you was a Democrat, you joined the Ku Klux Klan. I mean, he had openly said it, and I believe him. You know. We can hide her for a minute. We can take us back. There, we got it. I'm gonna make Guider come out into the open. I'm not just gonna sit and funnel shit at him. As long as we hold two, we got it. But me and Dooger, we're about to get took out here. There's just the two of us. Uh-oh. Well, there's one left, though, ain't there? Come on, bro. I ain't trying to get you killed, my dude. I ain't trying to get you killed. There you are. Damn, boy. But I mean, that's in all honesty about that deal, straight up. That is honestly how it goes about that. Democrats did take us to the First World War. They took us to the Second World War. They are the ones that took us into Vietnam. They did escalate the Afghan wars. And people still support them. I mean, I find it stupid that anyone would support them knowing what they've done. I mean, in all honesty, you really do gotta realize they are the ones that we're far from what we need there on that. They're the ones that which I mean, we're playing ranked. I guess we could switch it, but the 21 point one we got back in it because he is set up exactly for it. So that'd make our odds better anyway. I mean, I just really don't get their reasoning and how they think that they can just push that to the side. That 25 Reasons Woke Coaster is losing millennial support. I wouldn't know. But it's just it baffles me how people could be that ignorant, saying they're that educated. I mean, honestly, it does. Oh, here we go. I figured this would be coming from old Mac Johnson over the Olympics.
Speaker Mike Johnson, Republican Louisiana, Saturday blasted the opening ceremonies of the Olympics for mocking the Last Supper with a recreation that featured performers in drag. Last night's mockery of the Last Supper was shocking and insulting to Christian people around the world who watched the opening ceremony of the Olympic Games, Johnson wrote in a post on X. The war on our faith and traditional values knows no bounds today. But we know that truth and virtue will always prevail, Johnson wrote before quoting John 1 verse 5 of the Bible, "The light shines in the darkness, and the darkness has not overcome it." The opening ceremonies in Paris included a group of performers, some of them in drag, in a scene that appeared to resemble the Da Vinci painting of The Last Supper. The painting depicts the final meal of Jesus with his apostles, night before the crucifixion. Many on social media ripped the decision to have the performance, though there were also posts complimenting it. Johnson was far from the only figure criticizing the ceremonies. Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene, Republican Georgia, also weighed in, accusing the Olympic Committee of trying to censor the right by taking down posts critical of the performance that used video from the ceremonies.
Really,
Here's Morgan, the television personality, asked whether the Olympics would have mocked any other religion like this in a post on X. Harrison Butker, the Kansas City Chiefs place kicker.
Well, they mocking Muslims like that, man. They go all the way up around their ass, bro.
Copyright 2024 Nexstar Media Incorporated. All rights reserved. This material may not be published, broadcast, rewritten, or redistributed. For the latest news, sports, and streaming video, head to The Hill.
I mean, honestly, if they do them Muslims like that, bro, they would go all the Akbar up on them so goddamn fast that their heads would spin, man. Okay. The hell is this about Elon Musk? I like him. I like Elon Musk, man. He don't take their shit.
This week, the world's richest person launched an unseemly public attack on his estranged transgender daughter. In an interview released on Monday, Elon Musk, electric car entrepreneur, U.S. government rocket contractor, and outright owner of the social media service X, formerly Twitter, claimed that his daughter Vivian Wilson's transition was the trigger for his recent right-wing turn. Essentially, my son is dead, said Musk, killed by the woke mind virus. So I vowed to destroy the woke mind virus after that. And we're making some progress. Wilson soon fired back on the rival social network Threads and in an interview with NBC News, saying that Musk was lying blatantly about her childhood and of bullying her for expressing femininity. The Independent has contacted Musk for comment via his companies. For many trans people, these events were sad but not surprising. That is because all too many have witnessed their family members' politics becoming more extreme and more anti-trans since they came out. Here are the stories of 3 trans and non-binary people who spoke to The Independent about their experiences. Their identities and certain other details have been blurred.
I mean, no honesty on that.
Edited for length and clarity. In most cases, their family members' political shift didn't come from nowhere. Some had a prior interest in anti-trans politics. But all our interviewees said that things had got worse since their transition began. Felicity, 26, UK. I started transitioning around 1.5 to 2 years ago and came out to my parents 8 months ago. I think multiple members of my family are undergoing anti-trans radicalization. After I came out, my mom took time off work due to stress and claims to have had panic attacks. My sister sent me a very unpleasant message blaming me for our mom's mental state. Our relationship hasn't been the same since. I didn't expect the level of vitriol I received. Felicity. My dad started obsessively reading anti-trans literature to the point where one of their church leaders, who is by no means accepting of trans people, told him he needed to slow down. The only members of my family who have responded in a way I would describe as normal are my brother and his wife. I think this radicalization started before I came out. I come from quite a conservative Christian background, but I didn't expect the level of vitriol I received.
Well, because they don't want you to go to hell, or
Or there might have been the occasional attack helicopter joke or talking about what some commentator said. After, it became very personal and sometimes quite nasty. What makes it harder is that in spite of all this, since I came out, I've been generally a lot more positive and a lot happier. I got a job that I really loved, and which has led to me going back to university. I'm in a really supportive relationship with a woman I love. I have meaningful friendships, but they can't appreciate any of this. My mom even said she hopes this lie comes crashing down. My happiness matters a lot less than the state of my soul. Noah, late 20s, South England. I started transitioning socially in 2017 and medically in 2018. My parents found out in 2017 when I told them. Initially, they were very against it, but my dad came around eventually. And as long as I am happy, safe, well-fed, have money, etc., he's chill with whatever. My mom was negative at first, then came around, but now blames herself for my situation. As soon as I came out, she refused to call me by my name or use my pronouns, as she didn't want me to influence her daughter in my lifestyle, despite having a gay older daughter herself. Noah, my mom's partner, is the one I think is leading her down a bad path. He is incredibly hard right, believes in the great replacement, uses racial slurs with no regret, and believes all women should have 3 kids by 35, white with white only, etc. That people on benefits and immigrants should be sterilized in order to get those benefits. Before my mom was with him, she was okay with LGBT+. She's still convinced one of our relatives is gay for attention, despite the fact she's married and has 2 kids with her wife. But she's been more and more led down that path since leaving my dad. One of my cousins is a nurse and was so cool with the LGBT+ community growing up. She has a kid who is 13 years younger than me. As soon as I came out, she refused to call me by my name or use my pronouns, as she didn't want me to influence her daughter in my lifestyle, despite having a gay older daughter herself. So I went no contact with her. It's hard sometimes, as I wish I still had contact with my cousin and her kid. They lived with us for the first 5 months of her kid's life, and I was heavily involved. But she dug her grave, and now she has to lie in it. Satya, late 20s, English Midlands. I can't pin down exactly when my mother started with the TERF-Y talking points. It was probably around 2018, 2019. She would go on Twitter and be reading stuff about some kid in the US who transitioned and then won a sports game. The usual scare stories. At first, for her, it was all a very interesting
scare stories. The truth is scare story.
I was in my early teens, and she was completely fine with that. She's never been homophobic or anything. I remember a couple of years beforehand, we were at an event where Chelsea Manning came up, and someone was using the wrong pronouns. She stepped in and was very aggressively correcting him, saying, "No, that's not right." So it's interesting how things ended up. The weird thing is, in looking up, well, what's all this weird stuff my mom is on about, I ended up exploring my own gender identity. I realized that I don't feel any sense of my own gender. I don't feel anything towards it. And when you dig into it, all of gender is a social construct. So then the arguments would get more heated, and to be honest, more violent.
Shit.
She could get properly P******** ed off about stuff. There were times when she'd throw me out of the house or get physically aggressive. At one point, she basically press-ganged me into going to a Women's Place UK conference, a group that campaigns
I don't want to hear about Britain and their fucked up bullshit.
And other single-sex spaces.
They can't stand up for themselves. They took their guns. So they deserve all the shit they're getting when they let their parliament take all their fucking rights. Don't ever be stupid, dudes. They want to take your guns for a damn reason. It's nothing that they're worried about crime, because criminals don't give a shit about gun laws. I mean, they don't whatsoever. BuzzFeed, I don't want to follow this bullshit. Here's 6 things white people say that highlight their privilege, and oh my God, here's these all the time. Yeah, bullshit. This bullshit.
Feminist scholar and anti-racism educator Peggy McIntosh famously described white privilege as an invisible weightless knapsack of special provisions, maps, passports, codebooks, visas, clothes, tools, and blank checks. In other words, white people typically move through life unaware of all the head starts, resources, and access the color of their skin affords them. They don't recognize these unearned advantages until they're pointed out, and even then, some white people will try to deny the existence of their privilege. It should be noted that merely acknowledging your white privilege isn't enough. But it is one small and necessary step toward taking action and wielding that privilege to help dismantle the systems that oppress the black community and other people of color.
There ain't nobody depressing the black community.
Activists, therapists, and professors about the things white people often say that highlight their privilege without them realizing it. 1. It's not my job to fix racism because I'm not racist. What you're essentially saying is that because the systemic racism doesn't hurt you personally, a privileged position to be in, you don't need to be involved in the fight against it. White people must step up to the plate, act as allies, and use their privilege for good. It takes the actions of every single person to call out racist behavior and be a part of the solution, Michelle Sahini, co-founder of From Privilege to Progress, told HuffPost. It's a privilege to be able to only talk about race and never experience it. It's a privilege to choose not to talk about it or acknowledge it. This statement also ignores the fact that racism is largely a structural issue, not just an individual one. People of color would also like to live in a world where their skin color didn't impact the way they were treated and just never talk about race, Sahini added. But systemic racism is real. People of color must talk about race to navigate a system that was never meant for their freedom and continues with the support of white silence. 2. I don't see color. The intent behind this statement is to demonstrate that you're not a prejudiced person. But as psychologists...
Yeah, I don't see it there, motherfucker. I mean, it's crime wolf, man. We're truly... If anybody has privilege, it's the blacks. Truly is. I mean, it truly is. I mean, no, honestly, that's that they do. They truly do. That's sad, dude. It truly is, man. I'm gonna